I'd like to talk about the new multiple arbitrary function generator, Model 248T from TipTop. It is the Eurorack version of the original 4U Buchla MARF. It's easy to think of this as a 16-stage sequencer with benefits. But clearly, had Don Buchla wanted this to be thought of as a sequencer, he would have called it a sequential voltage source, as he did in the Buchla easel and also in the subsequent large 246 sequential voltage source. And I'm guessing he called it sequential voltage source because those voltages could be sent anywhere in the large system. You could send row A to pitch, row B have a completely different sequence going to timbre, row C going to mod index, and row D going to trigger other things. But he called it the multiple arbitrary function generator. And let's look at what arbitrary means. Here are 5 versions of that word's definition. Subject to individual will or judgment without restriction, contingent solely upon one's discretion. 2. Decided by a judge or arbiter rather than by a law or statute. 3. Having unlimited power, uncontrolled or unrestricted by law. 4. Based on whim or personal preference without reason or pattern, random. 5. Mathematics. Undetermined, not assigned a specific value. My take is it's definitions 4 and 5 that are in operation here, especially number 5, not assigned specific values. The multiple arbitrary function generator is more akin to the Buchla 281 quad function generator than it is to, say, the sequential voltage source. The quad function generator, 281T, in the Eurorack world, can be an envelope generator, an LFO, a pulsar, and it can even go into the audio range and be an oscillator. The MARF can do all those things plus more. Rather than thinking of each stage as a specific voltage, each stage can be programmed to a completely different function. For instance, stage 1 could send out a voltage, it could also send out a pulse, and it could send out a time scale of, let's say, 3 seconds. The next stage, 2, could send out a pulse on a different pulse train, and it could have a slope to it, so it would glissando into pitch. And it also could have a different time scale, let's say 30 seconds, so it could sit there for a while. Those 30 seconds could be modified by using the slider associated with that step, the time slider in the bottom there, and the time multiplier, its settings. So lots of specific functions just in those 2 stages. Stage 3 we could set to external in and put it down at the lowest position on the top row, which is synonymous with input A, and send control voltages into A, in which case we could sit on that one for 30 seconds, or we could put a stop on it and have a different CV from some other part of the system going through into the MARF and then out to its oscillator. We can think of the MARF in a lot of different ways. It could be a 16-stage envelope if you like. It's a CV processor. It can run at audio rate and get some strange little sounds that way by adjusting the sliders. There are 2 function generators, so you can split this and have, say, a 8-stage sequence on one half and then 8-stage sequence on the other half of those 16 sliders. You could synchronize the 2 function generators or let them run freely and get some really interesting phasing. Now let's just look at an example. Let's take a closer look at the programming. So for stage 1, I'm sending a pulse out, which is done here. Program pulse 1. The pulse goes out to open a low-pass gate that has a Krell patch going using the 259. The reference out is going to open another low-pass gate, which has a 258 happening. And the voltage from here is going to the 258. So stage 1 is open a Krell patch, let it roll for a while. I have it set on 30. Of course, depending on where these sliders are and the time multiplier is, you'll get different number of seconds. So with stage 1, we hear a drone being opened with the 258, and then a Krell patch that is being initiated with the pulse out here. That pretty much covers that. For the second stage, we are just going to now be hearing the 258 for the remainder of this, and I've put a slope on it, so we have this long glissando. If we go here, we see that I've programmed slope. Take it off, put it on. So that goes up, and then we have a little 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stage sequence that ends here, and you'll notice that just lit up. That means external in, and it's set to the letter A, so it's looking for whatever comes in here, which happened to be a sequence from the 245. When it's done, it goes to that stage, which is just a pitch from the 258. Then another external in on B, which was some random sounds. And then, boom, one last note. Oh, and that's end. So I've made an 11-stage loop here. So this is the end of the loop, and this is the beginning of the loop. Hope that helps.